Are Locked On Spartans, your daily podcast on the Michigan State Spartans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
It's the best people in the world. That's right. I'm talking about you lovely listeners and viewers of Locked On Spartans. How on earth are we doing? Thank you so much for kicking off your weekend with us over here, Locked On Spartans. That's right. Your team every single day here. For now, actually pretty soon we're going to be switching to a 3-day-a-week format as we get into the off season of June and July. And then, well, when August rolls back around, back to 5 days. But yes, in the near future, we'll be going down to 3 days a week. I imagine it'll be Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, I think is going to be our cadence, but until we figure that out, I'll let you know. But hey, right now, thank you so much for listening to Locked On Spartans. So sorry there was no show yesterday. Come down with a little bit of a cold, and by the time night ran by last night, like I sounded like this, and it was just it was not going to work. So I don't know if this is going to work either. Let's see if my voice can hold up for 30 straight minutes without a coughing attack or a sneezing attack or any sort of attack happening here. But I guess that would make for great quality content either on the YouTube channel or on the podcast. Either way you slice it, hey, please rate, review, and subscribe to this show, whether it is the podcast or the YouTube channel. Always appreciated to hear back from you. And also, LockedOnSpartans@gmail.com is the place to find us. Let's just get into the show. Why not? Because this is an exciting one. There are two thrilling moments that happen every offseason that I cannot wait for in the college football world. The first one is win totals coming out from Vegas or our friends at BetOnline.net. Michigan State's win total next year is 7.5. Now, of course, we talked about that earlier this week. If you want to go back and watch that video or listen to that podcast, I personally think it'll go over 7.5, but I also talk on both sides of my mouth and maybe mention why it's not necessarily like a guaranteed bet that it's going to hit over. So that was fun to kind of bebop and riffraff about Michigan State's win total of 7.5. But on today's show, exciting moment number 2 happened. That's right. Kickoff times. Kickoff times were announced. Yes, you know it is the dead of off season when kickoff times are being released for next fall, and I'm actually legitimately like getting excited about it. Like it's so exciting that we're talking about these game days that are more than 100 days away, but hey, we got some times for you. 4 times, just 4 times right now, and more will be added on later. But let's just get into it right now because I'm sure you're as excited about this as I am. Let's be honest. You're listening to a Michigan State sports podcast in the dead of May. You're probably a lunatic about your Spartans like I am. So yes, these kickoff times are definitely right up your alley. Let's start with the season opener, Friday, September 2nd. No surprise here. I don't think they were going to kick that one off at noon on a Friday. That is going to be a night game. That is 7 p.m. And if you're not going to make it to Spartan Stadium, also a really good primetime channel. We got ESPN is the channel for that game. So kicking it off, Spartans versus Broncos, 7 p.m. ESPN. That's nice. And then the next week, I thought was actually very interesting because I did not think that when I saw MSU Akron, I thought that like there's never been a game more destined for noon of all time than that game right there. But we already got a surprise. It'll be a 4 p.m. game. That's right, on Big Ten Network. Now, the interesting thing is that 3 other games are going to be on Big Ten Network at that same time. So I think it's going to be one of those issues where hopefully you're regional to the area, or otherwise you're going to be checking out whoever Purdue's playing at 4 p.m. or whatever. So, of course, you'll have the online option. But yes, 4 p.m. against Akron. Amazing kickoff time. We'll get to that in a little bit. And then week 3, MSU's first road game going out west at Washington. Suspected it would be at 7:30. At 7:30 p.m. Like that's going to be the marquee primetime game of that Saturday. It's going to be after the Penn State at Auburn game that kicks off at 3:30. So really, Michigan State has this whole platform to themselves on Saturday night because that is not a good week for college football. But he got Spartans versus Huskies at 7:30. I love night games on the road, like when I'm not going to them, because it's fun just to, do stuff the whole day. get all the chores you have out, or get your pregame started early, and then sit down at night, watch the Spartans play. Or better yet, if you're one of the lucky folks going out to that game, that's 4:30 kickoff in Seattle. So hopefully you get to enjoy the nightlife after the game, celebrate a Spartan victory after the game. So 7:30 for that one is awesome on ABC. And there was one other kickoff time announced. MSU versus Wisconsin, the homecoming game. That's either at 3:30 or 4 p.m. They don't have a channel for that yet, but that will be a mid-afternoon game. Just a half-hour difference. They'll iron that out the week before or 2 weeks before or what have you. Now, some games that we don't know yet that are early on in the season that I thought were going to get announced. MSU versus Minnesota on September 24th. That could be an undefeated matchup between the two teams. Now, that's not like a grand sweeping statement. Both teams will have only played 3 games by then. But nevertheless, an undefeated matchup is an undefeated matchup. So we'll see where the chips fall on that one. And another interesting note actually comes out of SEC country. SEC and however you want to describe it, I guess. Long story short, on October 8th, CBS primetime game will be either 3:30 or 7 p.m. They don't have a set time for their primetime game of the week then. What's going on then? It's Alabama versus Texas A&M. That will be the primetime game of the week for CBS and the SEC. So that's either going to kick off at 3:30 or 7. On that same day, it's Michigan State versus Ohio State, which could also, knock on wood, be an undefeated matchup. So I think they're going to let the SEC dance first when they're going to schedule that game. Alabama versus A&M, if that's a 7 p.m. game, okay, I expect Spartans, Buckeyes to be at 3:30 or vice versa. For some reason, CBS wants Crimson Tide versus Aggies on at 3:30, then okay, I think it's going to be another night game at Michigan State. Or I could just be dead wrong about all this and it'll be a noon game and we'll get shafted like we do for seemingly every Michigan home game that happens. So it'll be a lot of fun. Stay tuned to that. Another thing, too, we're going to switch sports. The Champions Classic date has been announced. Our Michigan State Spartans will be tipping off the season against I was going to say Kansas Jayhawks, but that is not correct. The Kentucky Wildcats is correct. They will be tipping off the Champions Classic November 15th. I almost said tipping off this season, November 15th, but this is oddly a little late in the season for Champions Classic. Usually it's like that first week, if not the second week of November, but it's all the way back to the 15th. And the last time it was this late in the month of November was 2017. And that was actually Michigan State's second game of the season before they went and played the Champions Classic. So I suspect that MSU will have a different opening opponent. We don't know it yet. My guess is it's going to be some mid-tier Division I team, kind of like in 2017. They opened the season against North Florida. And also Duke has a similar situation going on right now because they'll be playing Kansas. I assume that will be the night game. You know, the first year of John Shire versus the reigning national champions. I expect that will be the varsity game, so to speak, the game that's tipping off second. But they also play Jacksonville State before the Champions Classic rolls around. So there you have it. Some football news, some basketball news. And for the next 2 segments, we're going to be doing a new segment to us. I think if we have done it, it's been a long time since we have, so apologies if I forgot. But it's a stolen segment idea. It is start one, bench one, cut one. Yes, a wildly more rated G version than another game that you may or may not have played with your friends. But regardless, you, the lovely folks on Twitter, gave me 3 items. They could have been Michigan State related. They also could have not been Michigan State related. We're going to start one. So what's our favorite? We got a bench one that we're just going to keep by us, use sparingly, and then one we're just setting out to pasture. And some of these were really hard. And actually, let's just do one right now before we get into the first break, if you will. And this is from Spartan Dog 97. His 3 were noon kickoffs, 3:30 kickoffs, and night kickoffs. We're starting that afternoon kickoff. That is the golden kickoff time, that 3:30 game. You get to your tailgate. Let's say you don't want to get there when lots open at like 9. Still get there at like 11, noon. Tailgate in great weather. And also, driving home, you still have some of your night left as well. I'm going to bench night games. That's right. I'm not that old yet. I still like myself a good night game. Those are always fun. A lot of electricity going on in Spartan Stadium. In noon, you got to hit the bricks. I'm sorry. I'm not a noon guy. So yeah, that's where we're going to hit the bricks on. What a great one to start on, though. Very topical to what else we talked about in the first segment there. Now, we got a lot more of these. You guys came out in droves. I think you gave me more than 45 of these to answer. You guys are the best. You guys are awesome. And do you know who else is awesome? BetOnline.net. That's right. What an amazing season for sports right now. NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs have been electric. We also got some golf action. We also got the Belmont coming up here in a little bit. Really, any way you slice it, any sport you like, BetOnline has got you covered because they're your number one source for your sports betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest odds, news, and sports developments, including this year's basketball playoffs, Major League Baseball scores, fights, and even next season's NFL futures. It's at BetOnline. It's your continued source for all your sports wagering information from live betting to playoffs, esports, and more. So head to their lovely website today. Use your mobile device. Learn more about the action. That's at BetOnline, where the game. And before getting into some more, start one, bench one, cut one. Hey, just want to thank you very much for making Locked On Spartans your first listen every single day here in the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm going to take a quick 3-second break to just take a sip of water right now. Thank you for that. Okay, and my throat thanks you for your patience there as well. Okay, so here we are. Like I said, you guys came out as you always do because you guys are the greatest people in the entire world, the greatest listener base of all time. You guys gave me like dozens of these, of start one, bench one, cut one. So we're not going to get through them all today. I would love to do this with like guests next weekend too. So if I don't read yours off, odds are it'll come next week. If not the week after that, we're going to have a lot of fun with this here in the future. Oh God, I just read the first one. Because I just copy and pasted these feverishly. So sorry if I didn't include anyone's name in here, but let's just start with the hardest one. Draymond, Cassius, and Steven Izzo. Cassius, Draymond, and Steven Izzo. Start one, bench one, cut one. Steven Izzo, I'm sorry. I love your dad. Your father's done amazing things for me, but I'm gonna have to cut you. That brings me no joy in saying. Very fun to root for on the court. I'm starting Cassius and I'm benching Draymond. No one tell Draymond that I just benched him. I'm sure he's a loyal listener. He's probably going to listen to this one after Game 5 tonight. But yeah, it's start Cassius, bench Draymond, and then cut Steven Izzo. That's oh God, that brought me no joy to say out loud. All right, here's another hard one too. This is also right up the alley of sports. Connor Cook, Peyton Thorne, Kirk Cousins. Now, if you're a listener of this show and you've heard me mention it 100 times, Kirk Cousins is my favorite Spartan of all time. Yes, he is. Captain Kirk is the best. So I got to start him. I'm very high in the Peyton Thorne train. I might be the conductor of the Peyton Thorne train. I think very highly of the kid. I love his toughness mentally and physically, and I think he does really well. With that said, no one was cooler. No one was cooler than Connor Cook at their time at Michigan State. No one. Just the swagger about him, the recklessness that he would play with sometimes, the fact that he always threw a back-breaking interception in every big game, but always, almost always bounced back from it. Connor Cook was the best. So I'm going to have to start Kirk Cousins, bench Connor Cook. And it brings me no joy of the conductor of the Peyton Thorne hype train to say this, but I'm cutting Peyton Thorne. I'm very sorry. Oh God, that's two. Okay. So two in a row that I just feel sick about, which is great. You know what? Let's get into some not players right now because I feel bad sending college kids or former college kids out to pasture like that. Gruff Sparty, Script State, and the current Spartan logo. Oh man. Okay, this is gonna upset a lot of people. This is gonna upset a lot of people, and I hope you're all sitting down for this one right now. But I'm gonna cut Script State, and I don't necessarily like how I felt when I said that, but we're going to cut Script State. And I know that's sacrilegious because a lot of great moments have happened in that Script State logo, in the jersey. Heck, the guy whose jersey's hanging up behind me, Magic Johnson, he had a lot of great moments in the Script State, but Gruff Sparty is my favorite MSU logo. It is a dynamite logo. And also, I really do like our modern logo right now. I think it's one of the best in college sports. That's why there was such a big revolt when they tried to change the logo. How long was it? Like 10-ish years ago, where they tried to change it to that way a little too over the top modern Spartan helmet. So yeah, if we're going to have an outcry for changing the current Spartan helmet, I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to keep that around, but I'm going to put it on the bench. So it's going to be start Gruff Sparty, my favorite logo personally. Bench the current state logo, and then yeah, this is not going to go over well with a lot of people, but Script State is hitting the bricks here. Sorry about that, everyone. Hopefully you're still watching. Next up is, oh yeah, this is what we're talking about. Tailgating, college parties, or current parties, bachelor parties, if you're like me and played these games last weekend. Actually, beer pong, flip cup, or slap/stack cup. I know it as boom cup, but regardless, beer pong, flip cup, slap cup. If you don't know the rules to those, just to explain like slap cup at the top of my head, you just have to watch the play. But I'm going to go start beer pong because everyone knows how to play that. It's interesting because everyone knows how to play it, but everyone also has their own rules and the house rules. And I kind of dig that. I kind of like that there's a little bit of variance. It's like how some hockey arenas like have different, style boards than others. Or I covered a minor league hockey team where I think of the 6 teams in the league, like 4 of them had different dimension ice. Like I kind of like that. A little bit of house rules for you right there. Or the way that Major League Baseball stadiums are all different. I like that about beer pong, is that it's different no matter where you play. But at the end of the day, it's easy. Get the ball in the cup. I'm going to bench boom cup or slap cup or stack cup, however you call it. That is an electric game if you're playing with a bunch of people that have a passion for it. A lot of screaming. You could team up against people, just get them absolutely wamboozled within 20 minutes if you play that long. That's a great one. And then flip cup I love. It's great, but of the 3, cough attack almost just started. Flip cup is going to have to be the one that gets cut. Yeah. Okay. So enough about my drinking. Let's do another player one really quick here. This is Nick Ward, Matt Costello, Jaren Jackson, and they also add college years only. So it's not like, we're taking budding NBA star Jaren Jackson here and just dropping him on a court. These are all their college careers. So with that said, Jaren Jackson still has a place in this trio. I do recognize how solid of a player Nick Ward was, but I also can't cut Matt Costello. So with that said, we're going to start Jaren Jackson. That's right. Just the blocking menace, the single season blocks leader. You got to start him. I'm going to bench Matt Costello. Because when I think of Matt Costello, one of the greatest memories I have, not just of Matt Costello, but of any Spartan player, is picking up Tom Izzo and swinging him around like a teddy bear, and in that big win against Maryland in those hideous neon jerseys. But yeah, love that moment. And then Nick Ward, I gotta cut you. I'm sorry. I don't. Oh God, I need a guest for this next one. I'm having too hard of a time cutting people. Here's a great one, a fun one for the whole family. This is the last one we'll do in this segment, and then of course we'll hit a ton others in the following segment. But jet sweeps to the short side of the field, not picking up a desperately needed center in the transfer portal, and then number 3, just Jim Bowman in general. Jimmy B, I'm gonna have to cut Jim Bowman because what do you do here, man? Because at least you could do something with the other 2. Now, if you're wondering if I have talked myself into circles and have started to drink the Kool-Aid here, and just getting delirious about Michigan State basketball next year, not picking up a desperately needed center in the transfer portal, I've been talking myself into small ball a lot. And let's say Sissoko, he gets the old Gavin Schilling 2 fouls before the first under 16 timeout. And Jackson Kohler, he also has 2 fouls before the under 8 timeout. I don't necessarily hate the lineup of, Joey Hauser, Malik Hall. Who else could we have out there? We could have Tyson Walker at the 2, AJ Holgard at the 1, and then Jaden Akins at the 3. Why not? I could talk myself into that. So start that for me. We're gonna bench jet sweeps to the short side of the field. And this is why I would be a terrible coordinator. Because when I would play Madden back in the day, I would do unexpected plays, kind of like what the Lions did last year, or the short side field jet side sweep. But we all know how all that worked. And I think there is something to be said about the element of surprise, just not with a short side jet sweep. But with that said, I still do love the idea of the element of surprise, just poorly executed. So that's kind of why we're going to bench the short side jet sweep. We'll do a few more of these on the other side of the break before we send you into the weekend. But first, I just got to talk your face off about Built Bar. That's right. Built Bar, outstanding products they have. Whether it's just, hey, the straight up normal everyday Built Bar with their amazing flavors like peanut butter brownie, got some cookies and cream, some raspberry for you, or my personal favorite, birthday cake. They also have Built Puffs, which are a protein-infused marshmallow, still wrapped in 100% real chocolate, just like the normal Built Bar, but amazing flavor. They also just came out with birthday cake Built Puffs. Changed my life. I actually had one today before doing a little workout. That's right. It could have gone horrible, but luckily I was powered by Built Bar and Built Puffs, which had 150 calories, just 9 grams of sugar, and a whopping 15 grams of protein. They got this mess of a body through a workout today. They can get you through anything. Your round of golf, round of just Memorial Day weekend festivities, day at the in-laws house, well, whatever it is that you need to power through, Built Bar is going to have your back. And they're also going to have your wallet in mind. When you go to Built.com, smash in promo code LOCKED15. That's going to save you 15% off your order. One more time, gang. To get your Built Bars and Built Puffs, go to Built.com, smash in promo code LOCKED15 to get those Built Bars. Now let's get back into it. Start one, bench one, cut one. Thank you for everyone also that submitted yours. And if you want to submit your own, hey, hit me up on Twitter, Sheehan_sports, or lockedonspartans@gmail.com. As you already know, let's get into the nitty gritty here. The stuff that everyone cares about, bars. That's right, bars. Ricks, the Riv, and PTs. Ricks, the Riv, and PTs. Now, Ricks it's popular. It's basic. It's grimy. It's disgusting. It's over talked about, which is exactly why I love it. I fill all those bills. I love everything about Rick's. It lives up to the hype. It lives up to that lore. Yes, the drinks can be overpriced sometimes. Yes, it is a little grimy down there, but it's a college bar, for God's sakes. What do you want? I had many a good time at Rick's. Ask me about my last experience at Rick's, actually. That's a story we could tell off air. No doubt about it. Didn't really have anything to do with me, but things I've witnessed there. Anyway, we're absolutely 100% going to be starting Rick's right now. Old Uncle Richard's basement. That's right. You get the start. And I'm sorry. I got to kick PTs to the curb. I got to cut PTs. I'm not really a country music guy. And when I'm going out on a college Friday or whatever, I'm talking like I just did this last weekend. It's been 8 years since I've done this. But hey, no, I'm not trying to necessarily hear country music. I'm sorry. So the Riv, with that said, you also got Burgerama too. That plays as well. So yes, we're going to start Rick's, bench the Riv, and then cut PTs. And I'm sorry, because I know there's a lot of PTs loyalists out there. People that no one likes PTs. They either, okay, think just whatever about it, or they absolutely effing love PTs. So if, I know I upset some people right there because PTs just does have a cult following behind it. On the same breath as just booze, let's do another one. Light beer, Fireball, IPA/craft beer. Now, it depends what time of year it is. Because if it's tailgating season, we're starting light beer, we're benching Fireball, and then we're cutting IPA craft beer. I want something that goes down very easy, like some frat water, aka Natty Light, or some Miller Light, or Busch Light, or anything like that. But if it's right now, in late May, I'm going to start light beer still. I'm going to bench IPAs, and I'm actually going to cut. That's right. What's over my shoulder right now? If I could point in the right direction. I never can point in the right direction here. I'm going to cut Fireball. I know. And I know I'm going against my own brand right here, but really, this time of year, the only time I'm shooting back Fireball is like when I'm on the golf course looking to not drive back home. And that doesn't really come a lot for me in the summer because I do like to enjoy my rounds of golf. Yeah, I'll knock a few back, but I'm not getting absolutely slobber knockered out there. So no, I'm going to cut Fireball just for the summer. You get immediately off the bench. You might even start some weeks once the fall rolls around because, yeah, when the boys are playing football at Spartan Stadium, there is some cinnamon whiskey wafts in the air that I just cannot deny. So, yeah, but for now, start light beer, bench craft IPA beer, and then cut Fireball. And if you think I'm a fraud for that, I understand. Call me out. Reach out to me, Sheehan_sports, or comment below on YouTube, and let me know how big of a fraud I am. Now, let's do another batch of bars here. Rick's, Harper's, Land Shark. Rick's, Harper, Land Shark. Still going to start Rick's. We're gonna bench Harper's, even though they've had their PR hits in the last few years, but I still love it. I still cannot get enough of it. Back when I was there, it was like the universal second choice. Okay, Dublin's too full. Well, let's just go to Harper's. Oh, Rick's is way too packed. Let's just go to Harper's. And like Harper's always delivered. And I get it. Like, oh, Spartan Wheat's disgusting. Okay, we're all college students. Like, who cares? It's a cheap, somewhat cold beer. Like, I'll take whatever at this point. So yeah, I've never found the whole Spartan Wheat knock to be anything that made sense. Heck, I went to a basketball game. Was it 2 years ago in 2019 before the whole COVID thing started? I got a Spartan Wheat just for old time's sake for dinner beforehand, and and also pretty good wings, boneless wings at Harper's, may I add. So yeah, we'll be cutting Land Shark. So sorry about that. Now, I do want to end on a player one here, and this is Joy Flyer. Joy Flyer, he's an amazing guy on Twitter. He asks a lot of great questions all the time. He gave me a list of like 10 of these to do. So 5 for football, 5 for basketball. We'll get into a lot of these in the next few weeks. Okay, the one I just randomly clicked on right there. Joe Bocci, Chris Fry, Riley Bola. Okay. We're going to start Joe Bocci. He of course he falls into like the Kenny Willekes territory, the Kari Willis territory, if you will, of guys who were awesome and unfortunately won't be remembered because they didn't play on great teams because of not what they did on their side of the ball. The defense was never the issue here, as we all know, but the offense. And it's a shame that they won't be remembered for being solid players. But Joe Bocci, solid player. Loved his game. Now, whose game I didn't love, and specifically in, I think it was the 2016 game against Maryland, I want to say, if I'm getting my year right, where he just went completely postal and, got 2 targeting calls or something like that. He lost his mind, essentially. It was Riley Bola, who was supposed to be one of the leaders on the team. And I know I'm just boiling it down to one game here, but, I started watching that game at a bar. We're all out at a bar. My friends are having fun, tearing it up on a Saturday night, and here I am just, like a loser at the corner of the bar watching on the only TV, MSU versus Maryland in the 2016 season, and just being irate that he just would go out and play football like that and get kicked out of the game immediately. So for that reason, Riley Bull, I'm sorry, I'm sending you out. I'm cutting you. And then Chris Fry, yeah, you can stick around. I like the cut of your jib. I like his moxie. He was always a fun player to watch. Loved his eye black that he would do, which would, it just looks badass. There's no arguing that. So yeah, Chris Fry, yeah, you are on the bench. You'll get some playing time. And I hope that you all at home get a lot of playing time this weekend as we head into the Memorial Day weekend. Of course, thinking about anyone that's served, anyone that's fallen. And if you are a family member or a friend of anyone that has, really hope that you find some enjoyment in this weekend as we all reflect on, everyone that's been lost in these battles. So yes, hey, Memorial Day weekend. It's a great time. Long weekend. You might be going up north, you might be going on vacation, but hey, gotta at least pause for a quick second and just recognize what it's all for here. So just I'd be remiss if I did not add that one. So thank you all for your service, or if you're a family member, thank you all for just everything you guys do. And also, in a way, 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 way lesser vein, thank you for listening to Locked On Spartans, guys. Really do appreciate it. This has been a fun week. Again, sorry about yesterday. The voice was not going to go more than 30 seconds, let alone 30 minutes. So, yes. But, hey, there was a lot of good episodes earlier this week, like with Graham Nelson. We took all 8 of Izzo's Final Four teams, and we put them in a bracket. And we debated who moves forward. Longer episode, about 45 minutes. But it was a lot of fun. We go off on a lot of tangents like I always do with Graham, so that was a fun time. And then, yes, MSU, over-under, 7.5 wins. We banter about that. What do we like about that? What don't we like about it? And we also fly around the Big Ten and scope out some other over-unders that we like as well. Now, go make Locked On Big Ten your second listen after making us your first listen. So yes, that's with my guy, Nate Dickinson, Locked On Big Ten. I'm actually on today's episode, and we do talk about over-under totals for every Big Ten team. It's great. And what's even better, it's free and available where you fine folks get your podcast. Enjoy the long weekend. You guys are the best. Love you all. Go Green.